Hey everyone, Tony Ivanov here, lead trader and mentor of TradeBuddy, and today I'm going to go over a video lesson on my trade yesterday where I made $576.84. Now, don't let that number sway you. It was a very bad trade in the beginning. Thankfully, I was able to scavenge it and turn it into a green trade, but I'm going to mainly go over the flaws of this trade and why at one point I was down over $600. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to talk about the best penny stock today that spiked. I didn't take any trades today because I didn't trade the breakout on that play, but we're going to break it down anyways for you in this video lesson. Alright guys, so here we are on my screen share, and before I get any further about this stock DFFN, I want to say that if you're new to my channel, thank you very much for stopping by. I highly encourage you to hit the subscribe button because I make these videos almost every single day, and you can learn a lot from them if you're a day trader. And also, if you have any questions on what scanners I use, what platforms, and so forth, I have an FAQ section in the description. Just make sure you hit the read more button and you can read through that and have your questions answered. If you have any other questions that are not in that FAQ, feel free to drop it down below in the comments and I'll be happy to help you out. All right, so DFFN was the main stock yesterday. They released news around a half hour after market open. And the news was U.S. Patent Office awards diffusion exclusive rights for use of TSC in conjunction with only FDA approved stroke therapeutics. So lots of keywords in this headline, which is why it spiked so hard. As we can see, DFFN, as that news was dropped, it went from $3 up to $3.55 and got halted. Out of the halt, it went up to the mid fours and eventually hit just over $5. So very, very strong spike. And part of the reason why it was so strong is because, like I said, very good keywords in the headlines. So just some keywords to highlight. U.S. Patent Office means they were awarded a patent, exclusive rights with only FDA approved stroke therapeutic. That's, so many buzzwords, sounds very good. If we look at the FinViz of DFFN, I believe it's like a 3 million share float, if I remember correctly. This can't be right. Oh yeah, no, they just did a reverse split. So here it says the float is almost 50 million, but they did a 1-to-15 stock reverse split, meaning that the effective float was just under 3 million shares. So very good headline. Recent reverse split, meaning the float has been drastically reduced. This calls for massive spikes. So I did not catch this news right when it came out, although some people in the TradeBuddy chat room did. I waited until it came out of the halt, and just some background context, I got no sleep whatsoever on Sunday night. I kind of forgot that it was Sunday, so I was up to like 1 a.m. and I live on the West Coast, so market opens at 6:30. So I woke up at 6 o'clock, groggy, super tired, definitely not in the right state of mind to trade. And I always go over this with my students, and within these video lessons, I've said it before in the past. You have to be in your tip-top shape mentally when you trade, because this is kind of like a mental sport. We're playing mind games all across other people, all across the world, and if you're not completely rested, your mind isn't going to work as fast as other people's, and you're just going to be slower overall, and you're going to make bad choices. So with that being said, I made a terrible choice on the FFN, and I chased this breakout. It's something that I would usually never do, but for some reason, because I was just so out of it, I was like, hey, you know what? It's breaking out even higher. I need to get into this play, which is something that I never do. I never chase these breakouts. I always stress to only buy at support because it has the least amount of risk. But on this trade, I messed up, and you can see my orders here. You can see I bought 1,000 shares at 472. So just before that breakout, trying to chase the volume and trying to chase the momentum, and I got burned. And not only that, because I was super tired and because I was, out of it, I didn't set a stop right away. I kind of froze when I saw the stock falling against me, and I didn't know what to do. And eventually it dropped so fast down that I was like, okay, let me just recollect my thoughts. It's already past the point like of cutting the loss, because at that point it was holding a level just around the 25-cent area. It was holding some support off this 425 line. So I was like, no matter what, if this breaks under 425, I'm going to get out and I'm going to take the drastic $600 plus loss. But other than that, my plan was just to lower my average, buy in some more size near this 425 line, and try to turn this trade not into a winning trade, but at least break even. And if not break even, a lot smaller loss than I would have taken if I just sold right away. So this is a bit more of an advanced topic. If you're a new trader, I would not even worry about thinking of this right now. Mainly because if you just focus on the rule of always setting a stop and, never chasing, only buying at support, don't chase breakouts like this when it's already ran up $2 per share. Don't keep chasing breakouts. You shouldn't end up in this situation anyways. And even if you do end up in this situation, as long as you follow the rule of always having a stop loss set right when you enter your trade, then you wouldn't be down $0.50 per share. But because I did not follow any of those rules, I had to go into what I call capital management mode, where I try to average down my my position and try to scavenge a trade for break even or reduced losses. But thankfully, in this case, not thankfully, but luckily, I was able to scavenge a nice $574 win. So let me just bring up the trades again. So you can see I bought 1,000 shares at 472. I held through this drop. I bought 1,000 more shares at 435, risking off that 425 average. And then as long as I kept holding above the 425, I didn't want to sell. I wanted to wait until I could get rid of the original size that I had at 472. So I took partial profits at 477 and then the rest at the 483s. And then I was like, you know what? This stock is actually having a nice rally now. It's held very good support. So I was like, it might break out higher. It might hit $5. So I'm going to sell the rest at 5. And that's exactly what happened. So overall, very bad entry in the beginning. But then thankfully, I was able to come back to my senses and trade the stocks how I usually trade them, by buying support, selling resistance, and taking profits along the way. So in the beginning, very bad trade, but thankfully I was able to scavenge it. But keep in mind, if this did break down under the 425 line, I would have been down like $800 with my added size. So it wasn't a good trade at all. I know I made money on it, but the way that I look at it, it was a terrible trade, and I never want to take that type of trade again. I always want to wait until it drops back down to support and then buy the support. So there's DFFN, and that was yesterday. Today we had what was the stock today that ran? I really can't remember. BIOC. So BIOC today had news. They entered into a partnership with another company to help them with their drug results and so forth. So of course, again, good news. Not as great as DFFN was, because it's not an exclusive patent on a drug that's FDA approved. So not as great of news, but still, whenever you have a partnership with a company, that means that they're joining forces in order to make more revenue. So it is positive. And also we can see that BIOC has only a 2.21 million share float. So that also, when it has good news, it doesn't take much volume to spike it. So BIOC I was watching this during my pre-market webinar this morning, and I just broke down the levels for my students. The main level of support that I saw was 85 cents, and the main level of resistance I saw was 105. So we saw that in the morning, right as market opened, it smashed through 105 on massive volume, and this would have been the breakout to buy. I had, I think, 10 people in the chat room actually buy this breakout, and they all sold at least above $1.30, mainly here on this candle. But I was telling them, hey guys, the next resistance is 150. So if we look at the daily chart, we can clearly see that this area here from November the 13th until the 23rd or the 27th, it was kind of holding support at 150. And if we switch over to the line chart, we can see that very clearly again. So I was saying, guys, just keep the big picture in mind. This is a big breakout on volume, and the resistance that I see on the chart is 150. So you can hold until 140s, and it'd be a pretty safe trade if you got in at 105. So that would have been the main area to play it. I didn't buy this breakout mainly because we have seen a lot of these the fake out moves right in the morning, so I didn't want to get caught up in that. But this time I was wrong, and I missed out on a massive trade. This went from, like I said, 105 up to 150s in around an hour total, which is 50% move, which is huge for the recent market. And really, that's the only area that would have been really good to play it. Other than that, we had some nice areas to dip by later on midday, just using the same $1 area. If we switch back to the line chart, we can see that we have support kind of around $1. We have this level that tested in pre-market right here. We had this level that bounced in pre-market, and then right here would be the area that you dip by, risking off that $1.96 line. So those would have been the main areas to dip by it. And then as far as taking profits, I would say that the 126 area would have been best because we had it test as resistance here, it bounced as support here, and then it was testing here as well, meaning that this is a very significant line according to the chart. So that would be the area that you could use as resistance. That does not mean that you have to hold your entire size from 105 $1 till 125, but you can make that your ultimate last target goal, taking profits along the way. So I don't want to break down anything else about BIOC because those are really the main areas to play it. Just keep it simple. You have to focus on the basic support levels and basic resistance levels and just buy in at support. Or in the case of BIOC, if you are going to buy a breakout, make sure it's not a breakout like DFFN where the stock has already spiked up $2 per share. There's a very big difference between buying the breakout over $3 right here, mainly because this has a very nice U shape on the morning. That's a good breakout. However, buying the breakout over the 475 line when the stock has already broken over $3, it spiked up to 350, already got halted, reopened out of the halt, and spiked up another $1 per share up to the 470s. That has already spiked up so much. How much more can it really go? So you have to always consider, if you're buying a breakout, how far has this stock already ran up to this breakout? If it's massive compared to the price, then I would be careful on that breakout because it most likely will be a fake out from everyone taking profits and everyone going short. However, if it's a morning spike like BIOC where it hasn't really ran too much quite yet, it has a very tight range, this is a lot safer to buy. And honestly, once we have a spike like this again, I will probably enter into it. Who knows when that'll happen? Hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, so those are the main stocks I want to talk about in this video lesson. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, I'm assuming that if you watched this entire video, you saw some great value out of it. I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button, and then hit the subscribe button to be notified of any future videos that I make. Keep in mind, I make videos almost every single day, and I live stream every single day in the TradeBuddy community. All information is down below for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.